Hi, my name is Rachel Reiner, and I am here today with Lee Eric Shackleford, who is the adaptor of Karel Capek's R.U.R. So Lee, would you please share with us what it was that prompted you to adapt R.U.R.?
I think the first time that I ever read anything about R.U.R., it was what most people know is that that's where the word robot comes from, and I wanted to, know more about the play. Characters are not real people; they're not intended to be real people. They have names like Reason and Domination and Fabricator and things like that. And I wished that there was a play. I wish that there was a version of R.U.R. that treated all those people like they were real people, which wasn't Capek's intent. But now that the play is in public domain, I realized it would be possible to reimagine or reinvent that story so that all the plot points of his play are met, and so that I think the meaning and purpose of the play and the events as he wrote them could be told, but to be told in a more modern and accessible science fiction fantasy way, more like what people are accustomed to in our culture right now.
I've heard that you are a science fiction fan in general,
Sure.
and that this isn't the first time you've worked in that genre. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I've always been writing science fiction and fantasy, short stories and novels that I've started and stopped. Got to contribute ideas to Star Trek: The Next Generation 20 plus years ago, and other things of that kind since then.
Lee, are there particular elements or themes in the play that you felt resonated after so many years?
Capek really wants to tell, I think, a story about social class. I think he's talking about rich people and the poor who work for them. But the way he chose to tell that was to talk about making synthetic people. His robots are not machines at all, in fact, in his play, and that's something that we've had to play with because people today think of a robot as being a machine. But his robots are they grow them in vats. They're made in tanks. They've always been sort of flesh and blood creatures, and so in that way he was asking questions that we are now talking about in our debates about stem cell research and about in vitro fertilization, about just about any way that we're using living tissue to try to solve something other than the purpose for which it was, seems to have been originally intended. I'm thinking about the fictionalized accounts of nuclear power plants run amok and things like that. Those are things that we know could happen. And stories about contagions growing out of control, and Jurassic Park or anything else like that, that ask the question, just because we have the technology to do something, does that mean we should necessarily do it? And I think that's a problem that comes up in R.U.R. Once the characters in this play have figured out a way to do something, they make the jump and go ahead and do it. Have you had other shows in New York? Yes, I had a Sherlock Holmes play produced in New York in 1990. And it started in January, so it's going to be 23 years, almost to the day, after Holmes and Watson opened in New York, that R.U.R. will be opening. So that's exciting. Well, we hope that you will join Lee in the audience in January at the Beckett Theater. You can visit www.resonanceensemble.org for more information and to purchase tickets.